And we're back to genuine lectures and jokes. So the topic that we're... What was that?
How you doing? Great, man.
Oh man, I'm doing great. All great. How you doing, Cameron?
I've been better.
Well, one of the topics... He's like, so the topic that we were talking about just recently, and I feel like it's actually being brought back, is video games and certain things that are happening in video games, the decline in it, but as we see now, they're actually making movies with video games, and we saw that they come out with The Legend of Zelda. They've actually decided to do that as well. So
I didn't see that at all yet. Okay.
Yeah, man. Apparently, they announced it. They don't know who they're picking, of course, but they announced that they're doing it. Which, whenever they came out with the Mario movie, they said they were going to have a Nintendo-verse, basically. So it's really interesting. I really like the topic, but the main topic is, just the decline of the video game industry. So, Lucas, what you got on that, man?
All right. Well, first of all, I'm coming from a gamer that's been gaming since
Day one.
Since I was caca and machones, bro. It's been a long time that I've just always been playing something, either Mario 64, Game Boy, PlayStation 2, Xbox, GameCube. I know Justin over here, Game Boy Advance, Micro, Game Boy Advance. A ton of consoles that we've just been playing throughout our entire lives. Nintendo DS, Switch, on up to Lite, and Xbox and PlayStation 5. Currently still playing an Xbox Series X, still playing Pokemon to this day. And to be honest, it feels as if we were in a golden age of gaming for a good while. Either solo RPGs, good campaigns,
right,
well-funded storylines, graphics, and well-paid writers to actually put those games out.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing a resurgence of either remakes, DLCs on games that are already out, and stuff that gets tiring. I mean, I know either it's tiring or we start over again and we have something added to the game to resurge your interest in it.
Don't get me started on DLCs, man.
But lately, me personally, I've been falling back onto older games.
Okay.
Games that have been out for 10 plus years, maybe.
As well.
They offer me the most fun. And I know Justin over there, we used to play games all the time, and those are still the games that we sometimes play to this day.
They were, I mean, some of those games were just classic. I mean, I played all of the, most kids will tell you I was a PlayStation kid, I was an Xbox kid, I was a Nintendo kid. I was lucky enough to have a little bit of all of it. A lot of Spyro, Sly Cooper, Ratchet and Clank, the Jak and Daxter series. All of these were incredible. They were sort of open world, puzzle solving, single adventure games where you could have little multiplayer games on the side, like in Sly Cooper, especially when you got to 2 and 3. They had like mini games you could play on the side.
It was a small mini game of not even the full game. Just a little mini game.
And you could play them for hours, but the main story was Hackathon. Was incredible. That was a great one.
Such a small, obscure mini game that gave us too many hours.
So good. And I don't know, it was just something nice about them. And I tell you what, one of the things that I appreciated about back in the day was because you weren't as worried about having a failed game. You could explore, you could put out a game that was a little different, a game that, didn't already have hype behind it.
Yeah.
And it was okay if it burned out. I mean, yes, I know every game probably had somebody who thought it was their heart and soul. When it didn't work, they were sad about it, but it didn't ruin companies. It didn't cripple businesses.
Right.
Not everything had to be a $70 million game. You could have a smaller game. One of my favorite games is an Xbox 360 game called Kingdoms of Amalur: Reckoning.
Gotcha.
It's the only game in the series.
For those that don't know, we have no idea what that game is.
I guarantee. Yeah, you two have never heard of it.
I've been gaming for a lot of different titles before.
It was an offshoot game. It was gonna have more games with it. The game didn't make enough money, and the studio had other problems because they tried other projects and lost so much money on other projects that they didn't have it happening. The original company disappeared. The rights got sold. Right now, it's currently owned. I can't remember the name of the company. It might be Gearbox, and they're thinking about bringing it back.
Gearbox puts out some fire.
Some fire, bro.
No, it has a lot to do with Borderlands, which is one of my favorite titles.
The original game it's an incredible game. People played it. Yes, it has its flaws. It is not a perfectly polished AAA game, but it's dang close. I mean, it's got an incredible storyline, and it's just one of those games where if you picked it up as a kid, you could have played it and you would have loved it, and it didn't have to be played by all your friends.
Yeah. So there's two things that I want to focus on. You brought up DLC, and you're talking about campaigns and things. One, I hate DLCs. I hate the fact that now when you buy a game, you have to keep buying portions of that game or buy multiple things for that game to be able to have it. Go back to the original where you bought the game and you now have the game. That is one of my biggest pet peeves is like, oh, there's a DLC update. Now I got to do this update. There are times where I can't play video games. So one of the biggest video games that I play more recently is Destiny. I've always played Destiny, but I haven't played it in a while because the same stuff they come is over and over and over again. It's just update after update. But they have more DLCs that come out, and it's great. But however, every 4 seasons, you have to buy the new one, which is like an extra $100. So you're buying basically a new game, but it's the exact same stuff. When it comes down to campaigns,
you mean Destiny or Call of Duty?
All of it. But see, but that brings to.
This is a very similar framework.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the same point that I'm making. Those games, so like Call of Duty, games used to be about getting away and being in a game, a fantasy world.
Yeah.
Now games are more towards realistic things. So like Call of Duty, you're shooting stuff the entire time. That can be fun. Don't get me wrong. I like that kind of
the
style.
high level competitiveness of MLG and playing alone.
Right.
For actually gamers that are competitive like that, there is a lot of basis in that.
100%. But I grew up where if you played video games all day long, you wouldn't get paid. But now you have people streaming it and making bukus of money. Like, I wish I could do that.
However, pop on Xbox right now and then we'd be doing the exact same thing.
Exactly. But campaigns, people don't focus on campaign stories anymore because it's all about online content, playing online, which, again, I understand, but I don't like playing online. And there's a reason why. And I was talking to my nephew about this. He's like, why don't you play online a lot? I said, one, I get infuriated. He's like, well, why? I said, because I have a 5-year-old that's better than me at something that he shouldn't even be allowed to play because of the ratings, 1. And 2, I don't want to put you're laughing, but I'm serious.
Yeah.
But my mind, like, I need to be able to control I play video games to get away from anger, to get away from the day.
Yeah.
I don't want to be able to play a video game and then get overstimulated and frustrated with it. I play it because I'm trying to get away, And they don't focus on that anymore with all the competitiveness. I get it, but at the same time, it's too much.
A lot of online matchmaking causes some anger.
Absolutely.
I have kids that I know that have anger outbursts due to just video games.
Yep.
Freaking.
And when they do,
throw their keyboard.
Yeah.
When they do finally get away from it, like perfect example, someone right now would say, "Oh, they make story games." God of War. Perfect example. That's a great game. The whole series has been great. It's
the newest God of War. I will
purely solo
that game
play.
has been too fun.
But those games, those work because they hype them up like crazy. They take years and years and years to release one. It's got to be this beautiful art, this crazy stuff, and all that thing. They're few and far between. For every one Call of Duty, for every one Gears of War, there's 3 Call of Duties, 16 updates on Fortnite. There's 75,000 mini games on your phone that you can get.
Yeah.
And trust me, you get down on Marvel Snap if you ever played, because we talk about small video games too. I know for a fact when I'm not home, able to play either my Xbox or I don't have my Switch on me, I'll play Marvel Snap or Plants vs. Zombies from my phone.
So,
because there's a high level of mobile gaming as well.
The decline of video games, in my opinion, is because of the availability now.
Absolutely.
Back then, it was a comfort. It was I'm going to do this for comfort. Now you have
spend all day in school like, man, I can't wait to get home and play me some Halo.
Right.
Or
now
play
it's
me some God of War
in your pocket. An application you're able to download and you're good to go. I love the fact that that's there, but however, I think it's a decline because, 1, we don't get away from screens at all, ever, because we have it with us.
It pushes us into the realm of addiction.
100%. And 2, the fact that the availability, being able for everybody. My kids can go download. You just saw he accidentally downloaded $50 worth of something. I was like, I got it. You're laughing, but now
I am laughing because it's so easy to do.
100%.
Just click of a button. Hit pay now or hold it to confirm. There's no.
That's one of the parts.
You already signed the agreement that you swipe through because you want to play the game.
Yep.
And that's the sad part is because of how fast paced the world is now, how fast paced changes in the culture and just people wanting to do stuff. Video games starting to become predatory. A perfect example, just to go back to it, and everyone's always had these opinions on 1,000 other podcasts, but like Fortnite. Fortnite was a great, when they first came out with it, it looked incredible. It was like, Battle Royale.
I love that game.
You build
just
this thing.
You're generic, you're hitting stuff, you're shooting guns.
As soon as it got popular, what did they do? They filled it with
Crosscraft.
All these different skins, all these extra money things.
And you have to buy everything. And you can't just buy the one skin to be happy, because 6 months from now, 10 months from now, all these new skins will be out, and people get so caught up in the hype, they'll just exclude you. Like, you won't be able to run with your boys if you don't have the cool skin, the cool skin.
And I hope you're aware that even the musical realm fell into Fortnite as well, because there's the first ever digital Travis Scott concert happened in Fortnite. Like,
wasn't that a couple years ago?
That was a while.
Whenever COVID happened,
back.
right?
Yeah, and there was a full music video that you got into a lobby for, and all these people are watching a digital remake of a concert.
That's almost okay, because like I understand. No, listen to me.
Almost okay.
No. That event in particular, because
I don't know how I feel about that, but that's awesome and crazy at the same time.
Listen, we recently went
type of medium.
That's what I'm saying. We recently, the three of us, went to a concert in Houston. It was incredible. Live music, feeling that energy is incredible. That's why you go to live concerts,
baby,
to feel the other people. So to say, okay, well, you can meet up online. You're a child who is sick, or you don't have the finances, or you're too young, or whatever. To be able to go into a virtual space and be surrounded by people and feel that energy and listen to a music you enjoy
behind a screen or a controller,
I can agree with that. That's incredible. But the fact that you had to pay for it, or the fact that you spent $85 on microtransactions to have the coolest outfit on your avatar to then show up for that event, and then 6 weeks from now, none of that means anything.
Yeah.
Like,
see, that's where the event itself,
period,
that's like buying a concert ticket.
Exactly. And I'm okay with that.
But all the skins and everything, I don't know, it's tough.
But you also have to remember, like, let's talk about, like, right now. COVID happened in the year 2020, right? So that was literally over 3 years, almost at the end of 3 years now.
Yeah.
The world has moved more virtual because of that. There are kids now growing up in this world that have never realized the outside world because they're still kind of sheltered from it.
Absolutely.
So the virtual world is the only world, but that also makes, in my opinion, for weird interactions because kids don't know how to react with one another.
Nope.
So being online is the only source of communication they have with other people rather than face to face.
Absolutely.
Well, matchmaking definitely puts it into perspective how it affected us as well. I distinctly remember, for those out there that played Halo 3, hopped into some Call of Duty lobbies back in the day, 2009, 2010, Xbox, PlayStation lobbies, they got brutal. People didn't give any cares.
Yeah.
At all.
But now they matchmake you with people that are comparable in the same rank or whatever, right?
For everyone at home, by the way, Lucas is one of those people. The original Halo, he was that guy to camp the rocket launcher and murder me 50 times so he could have a good Saturday. So don't let him talk like he's high and mighty. All right, he was that guy.
For sure.
But no, see, I'm the same way though. So like you were talking about like old video games, like you were like, oh, Nintendo 64, Super Nintendo is where I started out at. My parents had a video
battery Game Boy.
December of 1993. So I was like, oh, I was 2 years old. No, I wasn't even 2, and I was playing Super Mario World. So I grew up with technology. I grew up with video games, and it's a passion of mine.
Yeah.
But with it being a passion of mine, I can't do it all the time because it's my getaway.
Yeah.
If I do it all the time, it's no longer a hobby or for fun. It's now ingrained in me every day to do. I can't do that. Like, it's not a getaway anymore.
Exactly. And that's why, like, me personally, like, we were huge gamers as kids. Since college, I have continued to play games, but I exclusively play games from the before times. My newest console is a 360. My newest console is 360.
The same one that I gave you forever ago?
And a DS, yes.
Yeah.
And I play old games. I have a laptop that I do some gaming on. It's offline gaming. I play.
By the way, this guy's off grid, has no internet at his house.
No.
So the fact that you have that and can survive is amazing.
That's what I'm saying.
And what's even scarier is me with the grid. I have the internet. We have our Switch and our Xbox that I play, both of which have Game Pass. That is delving so far deep into the past with games that we see games that I never even had a chance to play as a kid. Like one in particular that my brothers can point out is Kung Fu Chaos. That used to be one of the most fun games to play. Just like so goofy, so kung fu-y, whatever. Like Blinks from original Xbox, or we play like NBA Street. But we're seeing now that Nintendo and Xbox are offering Game Pass with older games.
Yeah,
like Nintendo Switch.
The virtual Game Boy and all that stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. I've been downloading them too,
bro. I'm telling you, that's That's some of the most fun I've had with Nintendo games in a long time, playing like Fire Emblem from Game Boy Color.
Yeah,
or playing the
your parents wouldn't buy you those. Back in the day, I mean, $30 or $40, but they wouldn't buy them for you. So then we just had to hear about it. And it's not like you can download them on a ROM.
And we're
now
willing
you
to play them now.
But yeah, now we want to play them. Yeah, for what is it, like $40 a year?
Yeah.
You're able to download any of them?
I remember you almost had to be strategic.
Resurgence of nostalgia.
I remember talking to Lucas and Robert Murphy and some of my cousins and stuff. You almost wanted to be strategic and like Lucas gets his parents to buy him the Halos and stuff.
Yeah.
I buy the Sly Coopers. Murph buys the Nintendo games. Like, since no kid could ever afford to have everything, you almost strategically needed to have friends own different stuff so that y'all could all experience everything by going to each other's houses and everything.
Right.
Now,
Oh yeah, Justin has a new GameCube game, or Lucas has Halo.
exactly.
Or I mean, there was a small time when we were blessed where we had GameCube, PlayStation 2, Xbox in the house at the same time, and I was like,
But see, back then, you would be able to. So I remember going to my cousin's house
it
right
was
down the
all
road.
offline, so fun.
Well, not even that. Down the road, you wouldn't play online. You would do LAN parties.
Yep.
LAN parties were the best.
Hooking up Xboxes,
Yeah.
hooking up computers. I mean,
I promise you, we had some of the best times hooking up Halo to play.
Oh
LAN
yeah,
parties.
I would do the LAN
Shout
parties
out
in
to
the wizard room
Colt
with all rocket launchers.
yeah.
Yeah.
God, I had something on top of my head. What was I thinking? Crap, I've lost
LAN
it.
parties
But
or what?
it's about. Oh, I was going to talk about technology. Like we're talking about how like technology is furthered and because of the internet and just access to games and how incredible some of these games are. I remember being blown away by the GameCube because you could buy an adapter, a giant chunk of plastic and metal that would clip onto the bottom and plug in, so I could take my Game Boy games, plug them in,
further.
Dude, they had that on
and
the
play
Super Nintendo.
Pokemon on the TV.
Yeah, they had that. So they originally came that out for the Super Nintendo, and it was just a giant cartridge that you would slide
So this
in. to be
decline
able
has
to play.
already been happening.
Yeah, that,
At least we've been making good games. for a
backwards
long time.
compatibility.
Yeah. Yes.
Backwards compatibility.
Exactly, and
That's a very excellent topic.
like we're talking about mobile games. The mobile games of our generation were Game Boys.
Yeah.
Carrying a Game Boy in your pocket. Later on, the PSP. I never owned one, but I remember people
Shout
always
out
having.
to
PSPs were way ahead of their time. PSP was way ahead of their time.
And
PSP and then the Game Boy SP, because
Game Boy SP.
if you remember correctly,
I had the
you
Game Boy SP, I had the
Boy.
legendary, the limited edition, the black and silver.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
If you remember correctly, those are the screens that they were the first to introduce light screens.
Yeah,
Backlight.
yeah. In the back, so you didn't have to buy those extra
You
adapters.
didn't have to buy an adapter.
Dude,
Yeah.
those little lights that you had to plug into your Game Boy were the worst lights ever
Yep,
made.
and they would like make your battery die so much faster.
I was
so
just
fast.
discussing with my mom how it was raining and I wanted to go outside and play my Switch, which I'm an adult now. That's the dumbest ever. To try to go outside and play your Switch in the rain on your porch,
Yep.
like, whatever
Yeah.
the hell. I mean, why would you want to do that?
Yeah.
But I remember telling my mom about a story that she doesn't remember. But I got a Game Boy, and I remember she got me that attachment from Walmart on a quick run. I don't know, maybe she was getting groceries. But I went outside and I was playing, and I remember her being like, "Get inside!" But I thought it was the coolest thing, like
Yeah, just the
advancement
attachments,
to be able
adapters.
to
Yeah.
go outside in the dark and it's raining, and I'm just playing my video game in the rain.
Well, see, I had
like,
the
on my porch.
magnifier that like slid on top of the Game Boy, and it like folded out, and it magnified it, and you click a button, and it also turned on the light. But it had its own separate battery, so it wouldn't use the battery of the Game Boy Color.
Yeah.
I would burn through some AA's right now, baby.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the Game Boy, I remember having the Game
Before
Boy
it got
Micro that you could just carry anywhere. It fit in your pocket perfectly, and you could
That
snap.
size, man, I'm telling you,
Yeah,
literally that size.
yeah. I mean, it was teeny tiny, and you could snap the covers off, and like it was the beginning of customization, but also kind of the
yeah.
beginning of like almost like a microtransaction. They would sell in the store.
Yeah.
You can come buy 10 different
Coverings. Little-
coverings, front panels for it,
They knew what to
and
do.
buy them and
Well,
customize
it's
them.
blue or
And
it's
you would
red
spend
today.
all this money
Those were
just.
phone covers before they were phone
That's exactly
cases.
right. And
Yeah.
you would spend all this money to customize the game system that, let's face it, only you look at.
Yep.
You might show your buddy, like, I got the blue
But
one.
see, that's
Oh,
the
you're
thing.
Cool.
We're all about
damn, that's
customization. Like, think about it.
Yeah.
Everything we have is we want it custom. We want something that nobody else has. That's just what we're bred to do.
We're people want to seek individuality.
Yeah.
But so in a way, you're talking as if you enjoy microtransactions.
Yeah,
To
well, of
some
course we all do.
extent.
We all do.
We
I
all
don't.
Yeah.
I hate 'em.
It
I
gets
know
to the point,
myself,
like,
I was playing a game and I ran out of certain credits and I was just like, I don't want to wait. I'll pay the 99 cents for 10. I know I've done that once or twice.
I know I've done that just recently. A game that hop back on. See, what I always think is I get re-addicted to video games because I've been
100%.
Oh, yeah.
I've been a genuine video game addict literally all my life. Ever since I was able to mash an A button because Brock's rock type Pokemon was whooping the shit out of my fire type, and I wondered why. But I've been addicted to video games all my life. So whenever I'm not playing a video game, I'll play one on my phone, play one on my Switch, or hop back and play Xbox. Like, it's a part of my life.
Yeah.
So with regards to impact, I'd say that a lot of these stories and a lot of these games, they're starting to decline.
Is this your closing comments?
Yeah.
All right, closing comments.
Yeah, let me close with this. That I'm regretful to say that the decline of video games is starting to make me not want to play as much, or games that I play will have, I'll want DLC, or I'll want microtransaction to reinvest me into that time, to become re-addicted to video games. Now, I'm not trying to say it's a bad thing or a good thing to be addicted to video games. It's, definitely a thing that, small vice, and that, I can stop anytime, but if it starts to affect your life, that's one thing.
Yeah.
Though it's something that I do to get away. Like an awesome thing to do to play video games. And I would say that it sucks that I'm having to go to old games to refine that love for video games. And I'm not seeing anything new come out lately that makes me want to play.
So to add on to that, I completely agree, because
barring Tears of the Kingdom, certain games are popping out and I'm like, this is great. And that's like 1, 2, instead of ones where I'm like, no one knows this game and it's still super fun.
Yeah. So I completely agree with you on that. Microtransactions is, we have to do it now if you want to enjoy anything or keep up to date with things. So like the renewal of certain games, I love my old school games, but sometimes they're actually coming out with new stuff. So like recently I told y'all I got the new Super Mario World
Wonder.
Yeah, so it's good.
I've been a little interested in that.
Yeah, and it's good. The thing is though, is like you were saying, there's nothing original now, nothing is new.
So I've been playing Super Mario.
So I feel like that is the decline in the video game industry, because nobody can come up with a new concept, a new anything. Everything is just, let's remake this, but tweak it just a little bit.
And then you're semi-interested.
Yes, because they understand that, like, okay, Mario does well, let's keep running with Mario. Which, I mean, how many Mario games have come out on the Switch since they've come out with the Switch? Multiple, like a lot of them. A good
Close
amount.
to 100, I bet.
Possibly,
something with Mario involved.
But also the decline in the gaming industry now is because of the fact that we have it in our pocket, and it's no longer a comfort. It's more of I can do this anytime, it doesn't matter. Whenever we used to be excited, like you were saying, coming home, being able to play, it was something we looked forward to. Now it's just microtransactions.
I agree with all this. I also think one of the biggest problems we have is we as consumers have stopped using our power. Every bad game that comes out, everyone, because of the hype, because you have to fit in, because everyone told you on TikTok, on Instagram, dude, this is the game to buy. These companies get the money. They put $10,000 into making the next Call of Duty, and
$10,000. Well, your number's a little off.
We're making fake numbers. They put $6 million into making the new Call of Duty, and $12 million worth of people buy it, and then they all within a month or two say how bad it is. Yes, but you keep buying it. You knew the last one was bad.
Yeah.
You know the next one's going to be bad.
Modern Warfare.
They will not
To be honest, I got that one too.
They will not change the way they make games until you stop paying for them. It's the same problem with the movie industry. The reason why they're making bad movies and remakes and changing stuff is because you keep paying for it. People, you got to remember.
You want to see how bad it is.
You got to remember that as a consumer, your dollar is your vote. It's your power. Don't give it to the company, and they will come begging and asking you why we didn't get it. And they will change to keep money going into their
You're going to say, this is a bad game. Why did you buy it?
Exactly. And
but not only that, though, you're right, though. Like, maybe the DLC will make it a little more interesting, so you buy the DLC.
Exactly.
Buy the DLC of a game that I know is good already.
Yeah. And it's so important to read the reviews. And like I said, if you know a game's bad, if you know a company has been putting out bad games, don't buy the next one. Let them suffer. Let it burn for a little while, and they will realize and change what they need to do. But just as consumers, we have given away our power, and we keep giving them money for stuff that we're not enjoying.
I agree. Well, fellas, I think that's a wrap. And so, what we got to do? We got to do the sign off.
Heck yeah, boys.
What's your initials?
Just know.
Get happy.
Live cool.